Picture this. Your CFO walks into your office and says, "We've just been told our main software contract is changing. To keep running the way we are, it's going to cost us another 2 million over the next 3 years. And we can't say no. No new features, no extra value. Just pay more or your business stops." That's not a negotiation. That's not even a partnership. That is a vendor lock-in. My name is Bert, founder at Capsira. In today's breakdown, the vendor lock-in. Let's take a look at a normal business today. You probably use Microsoft 365 or Google for email and meetings, a CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot for customers, cloud storage for files, finance and ERP software for money and logistics, a ticketing tool for support, and a few must-have SaaS tools that your teams love. On paper, this looks great. You're digital, you're in the cloud, you're future ready. But here's the uncomfortable question. If just one of those core vendors disappeared, or doubled their prices, or changed the rules so you no longer agree with them, how long could you keep operating without chaos? A week? A month? Longer? If that question makes you hesitate, you're already seeing the shapes of the problem. Vendor lock-in, it sounds very technical, but it really isn't. Think about your mobile phone contract. You see a great offer. A new phone included lots of data with a nice monthly price. The catch? You have to sign for 24 months. 6 months later, you are frustrated. Coverage is poor, the customer service is slow, bills are confusing, so you think, I'll just switch providers. You call them and they say, of course you can leave. You just need to pay all the remaining months of your contract in one go. Now, suddenly, you're stuck. You don't stay because you're happy. No, you stay because it's painful and expensive to leave. That is the lock-in. In business, vendor lock-in works the same way, just with bigger numbers. It's not simply we use this cloud or we use this CRM. That's normal. Vendor lock-in is when 3 things come together. Your daily business runs on one vendor system. All your important data lives inside their platform. Changing to someone else would be so costly, risky, or slow that you don't realistically consider it. At that point, you're no longer really choosing between options. You're just accepting whatever terms, price changes, or product decisions that your vendor makes, because alternative looks worse. And that's the moment a normal supplier relationship quietly turns into a dependency. Let me put some color on this with situations I keep seeing. A mid-sized manufacturer discovers their ERP vendor is changing their licensing. To stay on the old version, not allowed. To move to the new one, a 6-figure project fee, higher annual costs, months of disruption. Everyone around the table says, we hate this, but we can't afford to move away either. Or a SaaS company gets a shock from their cloud provider. Storing data is one price. Taking large amounts of data out to move it somewhere else, that's suddenly eye-wateringly expensive. They realize they can't afford to leave, even if they want to. Or a smaller software vendor shuts down the product within a few weeks. Notice customers log in and see a banner. Service will end on this date. 3 years of projects, tickets, messages and files trapped in a tool that is about to disappear. The pattern always the same. Business teams assumed IT will handle it. IT assumed the vendor will look after us. And nobody asked, what if we ever need to walk away? So, how do you know if you're not at risk right now? Here are a few simple questions to ask in your next leadership or IT meeting. For our most important systems, email, CRM, finance, archives, can we get our data out easily in a usable format? If we decided tomorrow that we wanted to switch vendors, could we do it in months, or would it be a multi-year project? When someone suggests changing a tool, does the room instantly say, too complicated, too risky, let's not touch it? If the honest answer is, we probably could change, but it would be a nightmare, that's a vendor lock-in creeping in. It doesn't shout, it builds up quietly, quick integration and one temporary workaround at a time. Now, the good news, you don't have to rip everything out and start again. You just need to start designing with one idea in mind. Could we leave if we ever had to? Here's a simple 4-step plan. Step 1. Know your critical systems. Write down the top 5-10 systems you simply cannot live without. Email, CRM, finance, HR, archives, support. These are the ones where lock-in really hurts. Step 2. Check your escape routes for each of those systems. Ask, can we regularly export the data in a simple format? Do we actually do those exports and keep them somewhere safe? Could another tool, in theory, work with that exported data? If the answer is we don't know, that's your first action item. Step 3. Push for flexibility in contracts. When you renew or sign new deals, don't just talk about price and features. Ask, what happens when we want to leave? Is there help with migration? Are there hidden fees for getting our data out? Good vendors will be open about this. If someone becomes vague or defensive, that tells you a lot. Step 4. Run the simple what if exercise once a year. Sit down with your IT and business leads and say, imagine vendor X is no longer an option in 6 months. What would we do? You don't need a 100-page report. You just need enough clarity to avoid being completely surprised. Vendor lock-in. It isn't an IT buzzword, it's a business risk. It turns our tools help us into our tools control us. It turns a normal renewal conversation into just sign it, we have no choice. The companies that handle this well don't avoid cloud or SaaS or big vendors. They simply make sure they always have options. It becomes a vendor decision. If you're responsible for customers' revenue or risk, this is the moment to start asking better questions about your dependencies before questions are forced on you. If you want more clear, non-technical explanations like this about vendor lock-in, outages, and the real risk behind digital infrastructure, subscribe to this channel. We'll keep breaking down these topics so you can challenge your vendors with confidence instead of being surprised by the next email from your CFO.